Hey everybody, mediacube podcast, Roman, Ivan, and tonight we're going to be using some full language like bitch and
Shit.
shit, and our channel will not be monetized from now on. Today we're going to discuss new monetization policies implemented by YouTube that are very exciting, really. I mean, they deal with foul language, they deal with verification, especially if the information is dealing with COVID issues, and a lot more very exciting things that are now being implemented. This information maybe and surely is useful for all of you guys whose channels are monetized, because now you are allowed a lot more than you have been until this moment. So, right, Roman, let's go through these updates.
That's right. Let's start with the profanity, the one that we mentioned just at the very beginning.
Right. All right, so YouTube is expanding monetization to allow for adult themes delivered through the context of humor, romance, dating jokes, okay, and the usage of moderate profanity. For example, shit and bitch in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's right. It has been an issue when some gamers or let's players normally they have a high level of profanity, and they had all these issues with limited monetization. And now, even if you're using these words during the first 30 seconds, it's going to be okay from the point of view of monetization. And I think it's pretty exciting news.
Yeah, that's right. But how it used to work before? Like if you use bitch or shit in the first 30 seconds, then what happened?
The YouTube is going to limit your monetization. You're going to get this yellow dollar sign, which means that you're going to be monetized only through YouTube Premium and by the advertisers who do not really care about all this stuff.
Right.
But the monetization is like 30, 40, 50 times less than the usually. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah, right. This is good news.
Yeah.
Man, no shit. Right. Okay, now let's go through some other updates because they're really multiple. A lot of good news coming. YouTube is expanding monetization on educational, documentary, or news content that may include violent interactions with law enforcement.
Yeah, we all remember why it has been limited. When this situation, when the movement Black Lives Matter started, I think it was the time when it was degraded to the limited ads.
Right.
And now it's going to be monetized again in some, not in all the cases, but in the majority of them. I think it's as long as it's documentary news.
Right. And YouTube is also expanding monetization on the content, again, educational, documentary, or news content. This is important. That deals with recreational drugs and drug-related content.
Yeah.
Now, this can be tricky. We've been discussing this before the podcast. So, what I wanted to discuss is, all right, so if drug-related content is now okay for monetization, does it mean that a company from a state where recreational drugs are legal, for example, California, if there is a company in California that has a marijuana delivery service, and they decide to make an integration within say, medical blog.
The one that is mostly educational, right?
That is 100% educational.
Yeah.
And for example, in this integration, creator would say that, well, marijuana is okay for your nervous system. For example, I don't know if it is, but okay, for example. And by the way, I'd like to thank company X for sponsoring this video. I mean, in a lot of other states within the US and a lot of other states across the world, this is a very serious violation.
Yeah. This is something that we tried to discuss before the podcast, and now it's coming to my mind that I think it has to be some limitations from the point of view of the following steps. On the first place, you need to mark your content that you have paid promotion in it on the first place. On the second place, you need to mark the exact product that you are trying to advertise in your video when you take this point. And more than that, you are allowed to advertise only those products that have been approved by Google Ads, and it's very tricky. It's very tricky stuff. And and you can only advertise it only in those regions where it's allowed. For example, if it's in California, and Google Ads, according to Californian rules of YouTube on YouTube, they allow you to promote your product through Google Ads. It means that you can do integrations within this region. So you need to limit your content by a certain region, and in this case, you can do that.
Right, now, because this is important.
Yeah.
Okay, recreational drugs or drug-related content is okay only in educational, documentary, or news content.
Yeah, that's right.
Important.
Yeah, it's when you're talking about the drugs and something like that. We're not talking about the branded deals.
Yeah.
We will continue talking about the COVID-19 issues and the content about this on YouTube, and what scope of things that YouTube allows to be presented on the platform. And we're not actually sure which points within this article are new or not, but I think we'll just...
they're all exciting, really, and they're all very interesting.
It's just,
and discussable.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's start from the very beginning. I think let's start from something that is more or less actual right now. It's vaccination.
Okay.
So what the YouTube support article says about the medical misinformation, they call this paragraph like that, content that misinforms users about health matters related to COVID-19. This includes content that encourages non-medical tests or exams for COVID-19, or false, unsubstantiated claims about the cause, promotion of dangerous remedies or cures, includes false or misleading claims about the effects or distribution of vaccines, or origin or spread of COVID-19 that contradict scientific consensus. I think this is one of the most important things here.
Yes, and this is something I would personally 100% agree to, although I myself personally have always been against any limitations on the freedom of speech, but this is exactly the case when what I would call a dictatorship of scientific approach is absolutely justified, because otherwise all these ignorant hypotheses or news or experts, they're really harmful.
Yeah.
I mean, they bring a lot of harm to the humanity, and people die because of their ignorance.
That's right.
So this is something I totally approve of.
Yeah. So scientific approach is one of the most important issues when you're talking about any medical issues on the platform, and I think this is the right move from YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely.
To limit something like that. And what examples they provide here about medical misinformation? So the first place goes to government, or governments created the virus as a bioweapon. This is something that is widespread.
Yes, but it was really widespread. I mean, I can remember it myself. A lot of news, so this conspiracy bullshit that coronavirus was created somewhere in China within laboratories and then just ran away.
Yeah.
It's spread all over. I mean, bullshit. But a lot of people believe that.
Yeah, and the second point right here is corporations created the virus.
Pretty much
the same thing. We've heard many things about Microsoft and Bill Gates.
Yeah.
5G technology, it's also one of the points. COVID-19 is spread via 5G technology. So this is such a bullshit, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, unfortunately, there are a lot of people in the world who believe that, still believe that.
And still there is content about kind of ethnic approach when some people say that COVID-19 targets certain ethnic groups.
Yeah. And again, there was also a very good point about the verification of information that deals with COVID-19. The same approach that is used towards media, I think that facts should be double or triple checked.
Yeah, with the correct organizations. Yeah, it's also here. When we're talking about best practices for creating content about COVID-19, YouTube recommends to fact check your work, use reputable sources from organizations such as the World Health Organization, Centers for Disease Control, and National Health Service.
Right.
Yeah, and we haven't actually finished with the examples that are here. And one of the examples is that you should not create the content that says that COVID-19 vaccine contains a microchip.
Mm-hmm. What content can also be demonetized?
Yeah, as long as all the it's been kind of a trendy thing on YouTube to limit somehow all the pranksters.
Mm-hmm.
And when we are talking about pranks based on COVID-19, it also will be limited. In case you are coughing, sneezing on bystanders or food produce, if you are not really sick or ill, it's still, it's very disturbing for the guys who's around you, and it's not okay to film content like that. When the people around you find themselves in a situation when they really think that they are in danger, so you should not do things like that. You should not falsely telling your partner you have coronavirus. It's one of the examples. Dressing up in hazmat suits and expecting others.
Yeah.
It's also very disturbing when you're doing something like that in public.
Sure.
And scaring others into thinking you are infected. I think pretty many things are about things like that.
Exactly, and they also write that, please remember, these are just some examples.
Yeah. I think they just have the list of the most common ones.
Yeah, and they're based on real cases. I mean, there is this case about licking toilet seat challenge that, it really was the case about a year ago in New York when a YouTuber said that coronavirus is a myth. There's no coronavirus, something like that. And he said, guys, now I'm going to prove that. I'm not afraid of it. This is all bullshit. And he was in the club and just went to the bathroom and started licking the toilet seat and got infected.
With coronavirus.
With coronavirus. And he had
guy.
a severe...
a guy that it wasn't AIDS or something like that.
That's right. And from what I remember, he had a really severe case of coronavirus, like a lot of symptoms, pneumonia, etc., etc. So it was really tough for him. So these are all real cases that have been out there, and so therefore they're writing that these are just some examples, and this is not a complete list. So guys, please no pranks about coronavirus.
Yeah,
and always check information.
Yeah, please no pranks about any kind of things that may disturb the people around you into thinking that they are in danger. This is the common rule about all kind of pranks, actually.
That's right. What recommendations does YouTube also have? Roman mentioned this already. Always fact check your work.
Yeah.
With reputable sources. Be sensitive to the fact that this is an ongoing global crisis.
Yeah, so it's not finished yet. So it's not a matter of jokes and pranks.
That's right. And always follow community and advertiser-friendly guidelines on YouTube. Always make sure you're updated on this, and always make sure you understand them. If you don't understand, contact your manager within mediacube network.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll explain everything.
Or read through the articles. We're going to leave the links in the description, and for you to be updated on all these things that are happening with YouTube guidelines. and advertiser-friendly content guidelines too.
That's right. Yeah, let's be winding up.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, yeah, once again, please be very sensitive and attentive towards these topics. Well, for content to not be demonetized first, but also
the entire channel can be demonetized, and not only demonetized, but also blocked. If there is egregious violations of these rules, the channel can be blocked for violating the community guidelines too.
That's right. But also keep in mind the ethical part.
Yeah.
And admit this content not only because your channel can be demonetized, but because
it's just the matter of common sense and ethics.
Common sense,
yeah.
Exactly. Right. It was short mediacube podcast with a short digest of monetization updates from YouTube. We'll be back next week with a guest, I hope this time. Roman, Ivan, mediacube podcast.
See you.
Bye-bye.